Whiteboard Wednesdays, Real Talk with a Realtor. I'm Sharice Wynn, also known as Agent Lady. And today, guys, we are going to go visit Dan Banks. Yes, Dan Banks, yet again. He's a structural engineer, and he knows a lot, and particularly about stucco. We're going to learn, does it need to be replaced? Is it an issue or is it not an issue? It's just been a lot of hype around stucco, and I wanted to get some information from a professional. So let's go talk to Dan Banks. Let's go. Hi, everyone. I am here with Dan Banks, and he is a structural engineer answering some really important questions. Stucco, Dan, stucco. I've been in the field, and you hear agents. I haven't had this issue myself, but you hear agents complaining about stucco and their clients having to get stucco inspections done. Like, how bad can stucco get? Or cracks in stucco all bad? Like, what are we talking here?
No, none of them are bad. And also, stucco is usually a veneer placed onto a structural material.
Okay.
Now, if you have the old style houses that had 8-inch thick brick walls, they will sometimes put stucco on there to hide old cracks of old settlement in the past. And what usually is done is a wire mesh, which is called expanded wire mesh, is nailed to the brick. And then 3 coats of stucco is put on there. There's a scratch coat, a brown coat, and a finish coat. And the stucco being very brittle and being, if there's any kind of movement, the movement will show up in the cracking of the stucco. But if the stucco is nicely installed, the wire mesh behind it will prevent cracking of the stucco until the movement is very severe. But it may very well be that you have the original portion of the house, and then you have an addition to the house, and the contractor may not have connected the original portion of the house with the new portion of the house with stucco that covers over the gap between the two. So if there's any relative movement, you'll see a sharp vertical crack in the stucco. But that is just a design defect or construction defect that the crack can be patched and nothing will happen. If you have cracks in the stucco that are diagonal, it points to the fact that the clay strata beneath the foundation has moved and that the wall has moved, and there's been so much movement that the crack has a diagonal.
And what would cause it to move?
Oh, well, all the houses in Delaware Valley are built on clay. And if the clay gets very wet and saturated, it can no longer carry the load that it was designed to carry. So therefore, the house will move in the direction of the softened clay. And the cracking that you see in the stucco will actually point in the direction of the softened clay. And a structural engineer will recognize that right away and point to the fact where it is, and he will locate what has happened. And you may find out that the grading at that location is negative, that water runs toward the house, gets down into the foundation. So therefore, it would be a good idea if you regrade around that area, if it's a walkway, or if you have a cement walking surface, take out that cement walking surface and re-cement with a positive grade of 1 inch per foot away from the house. And therefore, any water that hits along that walkway is not directed toward the basement and toward the foundation, but away from the house.
Okay. So typically when you see, I guess, hairline cracks, and depending, even if it is diagonal, long as it's not a certain width.
Yes, if it's hairline, you can just go over it. Sometimes a masonry contractor can take a block with coarse sandpaper and go over that crack. And by going over it, it will fill in that little hairline crack. And it will be very nice. If the crack is large and you have to patch it, something like that, you may have to re-cement at that area. If you have to re-cement in that area, what you then do is you patch it and then you paint the stucco, and nobody can tell what has happened.
So let's talk about the stucco that people have been having some issues with. And I've been hearing it from other people outside. I haven't had this issue personally, but clients having to redo the stucco on their properties. And I'm talking sometimes new construction too, where the stucco maybe just wasn't done correctly.
You are correct. For stucco to adhere to the surface, whether the surface is brick or whether it's 2x6 studding that you have to attach the welded expanded metal mesh to the wall.
Okay.
And if they don't use enough nails, it can pull away because water can get inside.
Right.
And by the fact that when the freezing rain expands and turns into vapor, it pushes against the stucco. And then you have a bulging stucco wall, and it looks terrible. So what happens is a professional masonry contractor can come in and re-nail. Of course, when he re-nails, he cracks the stucco.
Right.
When he cracks the stucco, he patches the stucco. He patches the stucco, re-nails, does all of the work, and he re-stuccos. Re-stucco, he can never match the color. So after he has done the work and he has smoothed out the stucco, he then paints it. Okay. And that's a lot cheaper than removing the stucco wall. And I don't advocate removing the stucco wall because if you got the welded wire expanded metal mesh underneath, it's doing its job.
But if you didn't have that wire mesh,
I don't know how they would do it. Okay, there are a few unscrupulous contractors.
Okay.
And if you want to talk about unscrupulous contractors, yes, there are some guys who don't use anything. They just slather the stucco up against the brick, hoping it fills into the joints between the brick, and it will do it. And then if water gets in, it will pull away.
And
well, then your contractor chips away and finds out if there's any expanded mesh. If there's no expanded mesh, that's the point at which you have to put in new wire mesh and then have to stucco, and that can be expensive.
Right. So you brought up a point I think I forgot. You said wire mesh. Hold on. It might come back to me. Anybody want to help me? I don't know. I can't remember, Dan. Darn it. It was such a good question, too.
I can wait.
I can't. So you put, if the contractor has to come out, you can do this. Can you come out and do an inspection for structural, for stucco?
But we don't usually damage buildings. We don't usually cut into buildings.
Okay.
We ask that they have a contractor open that space up so I could see it. We do no damage to any building. What we try to do is restore what has happened, but we don't do any damage. We allow the contractor to provide an area that we can look at.
Okay. So okay, we can get into that time. But all right, so you come in, the space will already be open,
and I see it,
and then you can see
tell
it.
What is happening.
But you're not going to do it yourself.
No, we don't want to do that.
Okay, that was my question. I couldn't remember. I'm sorry. So if somebody has to replace all of the stucco, that's where it could get costly, and that's where it could cost $20,000 to $30,000.
Yes.
But other than that, patching some holes and filling in the space
is just time and material.
All right. Well, that pretty much sums it up. Thank you so much for participating once again. And remember, guys, friends don't let friends buy or sell real estate without the agent lady. Make it a great day.